Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes, and welcome to yet another video. It's quite nice today, so I've decided to sit in the garden. I hope you will see or hear birds singing. I hope you won't hear children shouting, because the neighbors tend to be quite loud sometimes. Um, so I've decided to sit in the garden and talk about a question briefly that I hear a lot. Uh, People don't specifically ask me the question. People don't really talk to me, but never mind. And the question is, how do I start reading comic books, or where do I start reading comics? Well, I've got a very simple answer to that question. Buy a comic book, read it, and you've just started. You don't like it, you sell it, or you give it away to somebody and get another comic book. You like it? Well, keep it. Get another comic book, read it, and see where it'll get you. Some people are looking for specific starting points or jumping on points. Well, I don't really believe in that. I myself started reading comic books with, well, the first comic I read when I was a child, I made a video about it, was, I believe it was Peter Parker Spider-Man issue 7. And then I stopped for a bit reading comics, came back 10 years later or so, and started reading The Brightest Day, which is the worst starting point you could ever imagine, right? And that made me go back and read, what I needed to read in order to understand The Brightest Day, which means that I needed to read like 10 years worth of comic books, and that's how I started reading and restarted reading comics. With novels, it's a bit different, of course. There you should start with volume 1. And if you want to start with a specific series or with a specific run, well, then I would suggest you start reading at the beginning, as it was published, chronologically as it was published, not as far as the chronology goes in the story or the story arc itself. So the gist of this all, of my answer is, how do I start reading comics? Where do I start reading comics? Well, get any comic book you like, visually, for instance, because comic books are visual media. Get a comic book whose art appeals to your eyes and read it. And that's where you start. Well, and that's all. I will see you in another video, my friends, and bye.